Hello, my name is Bob. Welcome to a short stop on pool. Greetings, pool players. Recently, John Schmidt came to my town and gave a straight pool and one pocket clinic. Who is John Schmidt? John Schmidt is an American pianist and composer. No, the other John Schmidt. He won the 2006 U.S. Open 9-ball championship, the 2009 Derby City one pocket, and the 2012 World Straight Pool Championship. Until recently, his pool nickname was Mr. 400. In May of 2019, John Schmidt ran 626 balls of straight pool, beating the 65-year-old record set by Willie Mosconi, who ran 526 balls in 1954. I've been playing pool since 1980, so you know I've played a ton of 9-ball, plus 10-ball, 8-ball, as you can see in this picture, and one pocket. But my favorite game from day one and still today is straight pool. The earliest video I have of myself that I could find is this one from 2009. So I was starstruck when John came to Denver. I felt like I was meeting Willie Mosconi in the 1950s. But John is just a huge pool fanatic, just like the rest of us. His love for the game and helping shooters of all skill levels really shines through, so don't miss his clinic if you get the chance. John showed the group a ton of quality fundamentals instruction learned from his years on the road, and everyone at the clinic received an individual slow-motion video stroke analysis and personal advice. Of course, I can't repeat everything that John said. You'll have to attend his clinic for that. But he made me think about the progress and instruction I've received over the years. So I thought I'd try and compile my thoughts in this video, integrating what John said and what aspiring players should be paying attention to. I'm 6 feet 4 inches tall, about the same height as Scott Tollefson, if any of you know him. So some of this is especially relevant to tall players, but anyone looking to improve their game should find some useful tips here. I still own my first quality pool cue, a standard 58-inch long metal joint Prather. Here it is next to my current playing cue. Back then, cue extensions did not exist, and the only reason I bought a metal joint cue was that I heard it was better for playing straight pool. Maybe so, since I scored my first run over 100 balls with this Prather, a 135-ball run in about 1996. My current cue consists of a 30.5-inch long custom butt, 2 4-inch extensions, and a Q-Tech Synergy shaft. Total length is 68 inches. Here I am demonstrating what I might have looked like back then. A standard length cue is definitely too short for me, but I made do despite this and having weak fundamentals. I had a spread eagle stance, a water pump elbow, and yes, I would actually rise up about a foot on every shot. No wonder people couldn't figure out how I could pocket balls. Here's what I look like today with the correct length cue for my body length. My rear foot is behind and in line with my right foot. My elbow is much more still, and I stay down on the shot. These photos compare my posture at cue ball address and the end of my follow-through. The top photos are with the short standard length cue. The most noticeable difference is that with a short cue, my elbow drops in order to follow through. The only part of your body that should move during the shot is your forearm. Also, if you compare the cue ball address photos, I think my elbow is a bit lower with the longer cue, so my cue is not as elevated. Obviously, rising up on the shot is horrible. Notice at top right that my left elbow and left leg are moving as well. Something these photos don't show is eye movement. Pay attention to the timing of your eyes. When you're ready to shoot, your last backstroke coincides with looking at the object ball aiming point. Then when you begin to stroke the shot, everything freezes, including your eyes. I think this will help you to stay down if you're having trouble with that. Next, notice how my forearm is perpendicular with both cues. But with the shorter cue, my hand is always at the butt end of the cue, no matter the shot. With the longer cue, my grip hand is free to move. When stretched out, I can grip at the butt end. It's also much more comfortable to actually hold the cue at the wrap and be able to adjust my grip position along the wrap as needed for the shot. Finally, in my opinion, there should be some mass or weight of the pool cue behind your grip hand. Take a look at Earl Strickland, Shane Van Boning, and Jason Shaw. All three are above average height pool players and shoot with above average length cues. When you watch them play, notice how much of their cue extends behind their grip hand from shot to shot. John was really great talking about the importance of holding still. which reminded me of a shot routine lesson I learned a long time ago. A pool player's shot routine is not just how you stand, hold your cue, and stroke the ball. Your routine starts before you bend over to shoot the shot. Here's the wrong way to do it. Do you know anyone who shoots like this? First, our player steps over from the last shot, bends down, and begins stroking all in one motion. Their cue stick movements are the same during warm-ups and follow-through. And they jump up while trying to beg and steer the ball into the pocket. We've all been there, right? The problem is this approach comes from a lack of confidence. My entire pool career, I have been a proponent of shooting drills with proper discipline. Aside from learning to pocket balls and control the cue ball, drills instill a repeatable shot routine and confidence. A lot can be said about shot routines. My point here is just that most people skip the initial steps of setting up for the shot. Here's a practiced and confidence shot routine for comparison. First, our player stands fully upright with both feet facing the object ball into the pocket. He then walks over and stands behind the cue ball facing the aiming point. At this point, a firm decision of how to address the cue ball and the desired cue ball's travel path and the final destination of the cue ball are made. The player then addresses the cue ball by bringing the cue stick down along the line to the aiming point. The cue tip is held still at address as he ensures the cue stick is pointed directly at the aiming point. If it is not, the player should stand up and begin again. Everything you know about stroking straight depends on your body and feet being in the correct position and alignment. Do not try to adjust while you're down on the shot. After the warm-up strokes, the player pauses at the cue ball. At this moment, the eyes shift to the object ball one last time, and they stay there. The cue stick is drawn back slowly, slower than I did in this video. The cue stick begins forward slowly and then accelerates. Only the forearm moves. The cue stick, along with your entire body, should freeze at the end of the shot. Do not move until you hear the ball drop in the pocket at the soonest. I like to keep in mind 4 summary keywords to describe this aspect of your shot routine. Setup, warm-up, throw, freeze. When playing a match, these steps are naturally performed very quickly. It's during practice and drills that you should perform them more deliberately, to make them an automatic part of your entire shot routine. If you remember nothing else, remember that you should begin aiming the shot while standing up, not after you get down on the shot. John also talked about a slow backstroke, and again, I recommend his clinic where he discusses eye movement and your mechanics and as they relate to that. This is all part of a player's rhythm, which is something I have been paying attention to a lot lately anyway. Right now, you're watching John Schmidt playing tournament straight pool. Watch his rhythm and notice 3 things: his warm-up strokes, his hesitation, and his backswing. You'll see a lot of variety among professional players, but first see that John takes small, short warm-up strokes. Another player who does this is Joshua Filler, and who wouldn't love to have his accuracy? Then notice that John hesitates at cue ball address just before his final backswing and stroke. Sometimes the hesitation is longer than others. Then notice that his backstroke before shooting is slow. Then he accelerates his cue stick through the cue ball, as we all should be doing. I'm not saying that long warm-up strokes are bad or that you have to hesitate at the cue ball. For example, Chris Melling hesitates at the back of his backswing, and he probably hesitates for longer than any other player. My point is not that you should shoot exactly the same way as John Schmidt or Joshua Filler or anyone else. The point is that all professional players have distinct components to their rhythm. I know a player once who often took more than a dozen full-length warm-up strokes before shooting. We counted once and his record was 26 warm-up strokes. You'll naturally have more warm-up strokes for longer or more difficult shots, but in my opinion, 3 to 6 warm-up strokes are all that is required, especially if you aim while standing up, like we just talked about. Whether you hesitate at cue ball address or the back of your backswing, that hesitation is the signal that you are transitioning from the warm-up stroke part of your rhythm to the shot itself. Developing and maintaining a consistent rhythm is key to consistent and confident play.
Here are 3 examples of rhythm. The first is one we are all too familiar with and is definitely not recommended. Fast and long warm-up strokes, no hesitation, followed up with a fast backswing and stroke. The entire rhythm is one hurried mess with no transition from warm-up to shooting. This next example shows slower and shorter warm-up strokes, but still no clear hesitation and a hurried backstroke and delivery. The final example adds a short hesitation at the start and end of the backstroke, but I also draw back slowly and deliberately. There's no rush. As you draw the cue back, your eyes are focused on the aiming point. Notice how much more confident and accurate the final stroke through the cue ball is. As I mentioned, you will see a lot of variety among pro players as to just when and how long they hesitate. What you will see consistently is a deliberate and unhurried backstroke with a clear separation between warm-ups and follow stroke. I think paying attention to the elements of your rhythm when you practice is one of the keys to consistent play. If you found that interesting and helpful, please hit the thumbs up like button and subscribe to see more. Let me know in the comments what part of your shot routine you think needs the most attention and why. What are your thoughts about the best timing and length of the hesitation in your stroke? And be sure to head over to shortstoponpool.com for a free preview of my book, A Short Stop on Straight Pool, coming in November 1st. You can pre-order your book now to reserve one of the first signed copies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time at Shortstop on Pool.